Matthew chapter 19 verses 16 to 30. Matthew chapter 19 verses 16 to 30. Here it's Jesus teaches on riches and following him. What good thing shall I do to inherit eternal life? This question demonstrates that this man, like all people by nature, had an oriented towards earning eternal life from Jesus. He wanted to know what good work or noble deed he could do in inherit eternal life. Why do you call me good teacher? They call him good teacher. One thing I clearly notice from Jesus that he don't like the people are praising him too much, and also he's just showing that pattern. If I just do the miracle, don't show to others, because he don't want to please the people just from their brain. But he is a God, and all the glory should be go to God, but not from brain, but from heart. And also to understand, why do you call me good? In this, Jesus did not deny his own goodness. Instead, he asked the man, do you understand what you are saying when you are called me good? If you want to enter into life, keep the commandment. Jesus' answer to the man's question was straightforward. If you want to gain eternal life by your doing, you must keep the commandments, all of them, and keep them in the fullest sense. Jesus tested him by aspects of the Mosaic law that deal with the man's relationship with the man. That's why he said to them, "You shall not murder, you shall not commit adultery." So then the man replied that all these things I have kept from my youth. It is fair to ask if this man really had kept these commandments. It is likely that he actually did keep them in a way that made his righteousness in the eyes of man, in the sense that Paul could say concerning the righteous which is in the law, blameless in Philippians 3:6, but certainly did not keep them in the full and perfect sense which Jesus spoke of in the Sermon of the Mount. What do I still lack? If you feel that when something is missing, then you have to ask, or we have to ask to Jesus, or what it exactly. This alone tell us that this man had not perfectly kept the law, because he still knew that there was something missing in his life, prompting the question, what do I still lack? There was still something lacking in his life, reflecting something missing in his relationship with God. Jesus tested him by aspects of the Mosaic law which deals the man's relationship to God. Sell all you have to give to the poor, and you will have treasure in heaven, and come and follow me. The call to forsake everything and follow Jesus is a call to put God first in all things. It is full obedience to the first table of the law, which dealt with a man's relationship to God. He went away sorrowfully, for he had great possessions. He had a lot of money, but so that's why he can't sell that money. In this, the wealthy questionnaire failed utterly. Money has his God. He was guilty of adultery. This is why Jesus, knowing the man's heart, asked him renounce his possessions. Sorrowful, for he had great possession. Then Jesus was talking about the riches as an obstacle to the kingdom of heaven. It's really hard to richest people get into the heaven. I'm thinking myself that many people around the world, they were trying to have a one-time meal in their day-to-day life, and they were struggling to get the food. But I'm struggling to reduce my stomach and reduce the weight by jogging and everything. So I am the richest person. What Bible saying. So I'm really pray to God that God, I don't want that mindset that to please money, to love money and great possessions, but God is my priority and obedience. Riches as an obstacle to kingdom. Surely I say to you, we should not diminishing the strength of Jesus' words, nor fail to see their application in our own affluent society. Who among us would not be considered richer than this rich young rules was? It is really hard for a rich man to enter the kingdom of heaven. Riches are the problem because they tend to make us satisfied with this life instead of longing of the age to come, as well as something riches are sought at the expenses of seeking God. They were exceedingly amazed. The great amazement of the disciples was based on the assumption that riches were always a sign of God's blessing and favor. Why, with God, all things are possible. It is possible for the rich man to be saved. God's grace is enough to save a rich man. We have example of people like Joseph of Arimathea and Barnabas. These all are rich men still able to put God first, not their riches. Peter blunt question: what do we get for following you? You said there is no money to get, and it is not money is not the concern, and the possession we don't get any possession. What exactly we are gonna get if I follow you? Therefore, what shall we have? In contrast to rich young ruler, the disciples did leave all to follow Jesus. So, what would be their reward? Jesus tells the special honor of the disciple: you who have followed me will also sit the 12th throne, judging the 12 tribes of Israel. The disciples will have a special rule of future judgment, probably in the sense of administration in the millennial kingdom. Everyone who has left house or brother or sister, but there will be a universal honor of all who sacrifice for Jesus' sake. Whatever has been given up for him will be returned to us 100 times over in addition of everlasting life. But many who have first will be last, and the last first. In the previous word, Jesus promised that those who sacrificed for his sake and the sake of his kingdom would be rewarded. And he said that though they would be rewarded, it would be different than man usually expect, because we usually believe that the first will be the first and the last will be the last. The probably in the following chapter will illustrate these principles we can see in coming days. May God bless you. Amen.